welcome back to the Witch BookTube, and this is Elena with the Witch's Box, and I'm here today to do a January wrap-up where we cover the last 4 books that we did for the month of January. If you're watching this right when it comes out, I think that we're now 2 books into, or maybe 3 books into February. So I'm going to try to get these done a little quicker, but here we are. So this is the January wrap-up. And for the month of January, I read 4 books that I shared with all of you. The first book that I'm going to share with you is Earth, Air, Fire, and Water by Skye Cunningham. I loved this book. And I think quite a few of you who've also read it enjoyed it. He's just really well researched. He is well studied. He's passed now, but in the time that he was alive, he did a lot of writing on witchcraft, particularly with the elemental magic and natural magic. So this is the first book that I read and shared with you all in January, but there are quite a few of his other books that I have on my to-be-read list. So look forward to more from him, but this is definitely a book that I loved, that I recommended for people, particularly beginners, if you want to dive into elemental magic. Fantastic. Really well written and easy to read, with a lot of different exercises and things that you can do to help improve your own personal skills in spellcraft. Great book. The other book that I've got here in my pile, I'm gonna share with you, was A Spell a Day. I still have my little tabs in here. This was actually the first book where I was like, I had a little bit of criticism over it. In hindsight now, I got some feedback from all of you, which I really appreciate. I get that this was fashioned after, those meditation books that we've all, I'm sure, have seen at some point in our lives or another, where it's like some meditation or quote for the day, and you have one for each day of the year. It's fashioned like that, only instead of a quote to meditate on, it's a spell. I love that idea. However, I'm still not convinced that doing that type of format with spells is the best. A lot more could have been conveyed, I think, with this book in terms of grouping the spells together so that people had an idea of all the different ways to address specific issues in your life with spells. But that said, this isn't a book that I would not recommend. I recommend it, but it's only going to give you so much, and it's going to require you to dig around it if you're looking for a specific spell. If you're interested in having a book that you can just check a daily spell to kind of, jog your creativity for future use, it could be useful for that. It's also, because I love design, it's a yummy book because it's got this yummy, I don't know that the camera is really going to convey it, but it's like almost quilted or padded, so it's got a little squishiness to it. It's small. You can see that it's, maybe a 5-inch tall book. But there it is. It's A Spell a Day by Cassandra Eason. The other book that I really loved, January was good for books that I loved, was The Little Book of Psychic Development by Melanie Barnum. Get this book. Get this book. I think it's the only book in all the books that I've reviewed so far where I've been really adamant about get it. It's small, it's easy to read, it's covering something that I think people find to be an intimidating topic, right? Because you want to be psychic, you think maybe you've got a sixth sense about things, but it's kind of shrouded in mystery. There is a lot of like a notion that maybe being psychic is really difficult or for someone else. This is a super straightforward, practical way of strengthening that muscle, right, for yourself. That really demystifies, that's what it is. It demystifies being psychic. I thought this was a great book, and the meditative exercises in this book are exercises that we should all be doing no matter what. Even if you don't think that you're psychic or you're interested in psychic abilities, get the book. I'm telling you, get the book. All of these things will be linked down below, by the way, but I loved it. She did a fantastic job, and Melanie Barnum has been writing about psychic abilities for a while. She's also a columnist, and she also works professionally in that capacity. Get it. The last and 4th book, which I also love, this was a really good month for books that I was really enjoying, was Modern Witchcraft Book of Love Spells by Skye Alexander. It's such a good book. And also I want to talk about just how beautiful the design is. It's got this very, it's not a rough texture, but it's a texture to the cover that I feel is really yummy. I'm a pretty tactile person, as you can tell. This is the spine. It talks about a topic that we all have all sorts of conflict and illusions about, and it gives you a very broad idea of what can be done with love spells. So I loved it for that reason. I think that she covers a lot of topics that have nothing to do with just the simple, I want that person to like me. spells and rituals here for couples who want to like improve their communication, that want to work on forgiveness, which I think is a beautiful thing. We all need to learn how to love in the day-to-day. I think that there are a lot of spells that address that, which I think is fantastic. Great support for that. So partnered like spells where you can do together. There are spells that you can do on your own, spells to heal your past, spell for self-care. Great book. It's really thorough. She's fantastic. She's a fantastic writer, well studied, has been around for a while. Her book list is pretty extensive as well, and she's another one that I've got on my list to read all of her books for, so you'll be hearing more about her later. I also really highly recommend this book. This was really great, and it was a great read. And all in all, like I think January being my first full month doing the Witch BookTube was pretty pleasant, I have to say. I will say also that I feel a sense of stress over the fact that I really want to be able to read double the amount, but I just can't, which I think is probably the lament of most readers, who people who love to read, that they want to read more, but they just can't. So hopefully in the future, I'll be able to kind of consume more, because I really have enjoyed incorporating the reading into my life, not just because I'm learning and refreshing my knowledge toolkit really over witchcraft, but because there's something really therapeutic and healing about disconnecting from the computer and disconnecting from my phone and just reading for the sake of reading, which I think is great. So I highly recommend it. That was January. We are now in the middle of February, so I'll do another one of these in a couple of weeks once I'm done with all of the February books. Yeah, that's it. Tell me what you read in January. I'd love to hear what you're reading. And I can't say this enough, I really appreciate that you are all commenting and sharing your thoughts on the books that I've reviewed, or sharing your thoughts on the books that you read as well. So I want to definitely keep reading about what you're reading. So tell me what's going on. Tell me what you read in January, what you liked, what you didn't like. Maybe I'll add some of that on my list as well. My list is getting really big, but I'm okay with that. And just, not that you care, not that it matters, but this is the last time I'm going to be doing a video in this particular space. We are leaving Austin back to California, where the Witches Box Workshop is. But the Witches Box Workshop is also in huge transition. We moved into one place. We had this, I don't know, those of you who've been following me for a minute, we had the very, very small Witches Workshop, and then we moved to a bigger workshop, and now we've outgrown that, which is amazing, and that's because of all of you, and I really, really appreciate that. But we are kind of like stuffed to the gills and exploding out of the space, and we need to find another space, and we haven't. So I actually have no idea where I'm going to record these next time, because our living room is also under construction. There's a lot happening in California. So who knows what you'll see in the background in the next video. It's anybody's guess. But I can't wait to do it, and I can't wait to talk to you all again, and I wish you a lovely week. Take care.